to achieve? Who are you in terms of what do you want to do with your life, right? Why do you need money? What kind of money do you need? What will you use the money for? How will you use it to impact? If you're not able to answer that very first question, then it means that you may be designing your money blueprint according to another person's own desires or goals. And there's advice all over the internet, right? I mean, everywhere you go, from Instagram to Twitter, if you put on Google, you will see all sort of tips. But the first thing amidst that noise is to define who you are, so that you can know what is important to you and what you seek, so that you can understand how to tailor your money goals. And I think after answering the question of who are you, right, is then what is your money goal? Before you leave this earth, right, in terms of specifics, right, how much do you feel if you get will make you happy? And why is that amount? I believe that it's actually very important to quantify it, or to give it a range at least, not just say, I want to be rich. What does rich mean to you? Is rich that you own a house or you own dozens of houses? Is rich that you are able to, pay your bills on time, or you don't even want to worry about any bill? You just want that if you walk into a shop, you are not able to ask, well, how much does this cost, right? And you just pay. So you have to define that, because if you are not able to define where you want to get to, then it becomes very hard. Now, the third very important one that I recently just also learned this year was, what is your money psychology? But that is tied back to the first question. Every one of us has a money psychology. And that money psychology is deeply rooted in who we are as people, how we grew up, our environment, and the kind of upbringing that we had. So I was recently joking to somebody, right, that we always used.
Good evening, everyone. So sorry about that. I think she was knocked out by network, but she's on the call now. So let's just give a few seconds for her to continue sharing her screen.
Welcome, Hawa.
Please kindly make her a co-host. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, how I think you can share your screen now.
Yes, great. Okay. I'm guessing everyone can see my screen. So as I was sharing, as I grew and I learned, and I think very important after getting married, I learned that everyone has the impact of, how you're raised and how you're socialized it's monumental to how you see life as a human. And you have to be conscious about it to understand why. So for even money psychology, right? We'll find out that a lot of people have views about money that are deep rooted, not necessarily because of even what they are earning now, but just how they've viewed money as they were growing up. There's a book, Money Psychology. I think I'll find the author and drop it later on the chat before I leave, right? It's a really impactful book. So it talks about how we all view money differently and how you cannot simulate certain experiences. So the way somebody who grew up in abject poverty views money and how they treat money later is very different from the way another person who probably grew up in a lot of money would behave. And some of these things, right, even in terms of how you make rational decisions, they usually override it because, like we said, it's embedded in your psychology. So it's very important to understand your own money psychology. And that requires, deep reflection and thought around how do I really behave with money? What do I believe about money? Do I believe that money is something that I need to hoard? How am I in terms of my risk aversion and all that? Now, if you define that, I think the next important thing to obviously go to is now that I understand myself, right? What am I going to do to sort of overcome the innate limitations that I have? So let me use one for example. If you define yourself properly and you are a person who is a peacemaker by nature, you don't like to say no, right? Even if you are making a lot of money, you may find that unconsciously you are spending a lot of money on what we call black tax in Africa. So you're unable to say no to family or loved ones when they always come asking for money. But if you're not able to first diagnose this, then you probably will not even understand to say, why is my money always finishing? How come I haven't, built and had the investment that I seek to have at this age? And then when you realize that, you then ask yourself to say that now that I understand that it's probably my innate way to respond this way most of the time, what are the processes and systems that I will put in place to overcome some of those things that are probably not my strong suit, right? And again, every strength that you have on the backside is also the weakness. So if you're a peacemaker, of course, it's a very strong strength in terms of how you can integrate with people, form bond and all that. But the other thing about it is that you probably are not very strong in setting boundaries. People usually sense that, and you are most likely the person everybody runs to for help when they are in need. And I think the last thing is that when you've defined all this, how do you frequently calibrate your progress against where you say you want to be? How do you judge and to say that I'm on track or I'm not on track? And fundamentally across all this, it requires a very strong sense of self-reflection and self-honesty. There's no perfect person. And each one of us, we have something that we don't do well according to money. So I'll personalize it and just share a story, something that brought to my own awareness, my own money psychology. So I remember in school, I went to private school, and I think that from even there, right, everybody had the way that their families ran money. So I had a friend whose dad, I think, taught her how to manage money in a very strict way. So what her dad would do is that he would pay, if she needed every month for a full semester, 10,000 naira, he would give her at once 30,000 and put in her account. And if she did spend over 30,000, he will not refund it under any grounds. So it will always be strange, we'll go out. The rest of us that were not very disciplined with, and our parents were giving us money monthly, right? We'll go out and we'll be, buying things. I'm like, okay, I'll call my dad later. And she's like, no, I can't spend that. And I'm like, yeah, but I saw money, your account when we went to the ATM. She's like, yeah, but that's money for the term. That's not money for the month. And that's sort of, even as adults, because we're still very good friends, she's very strict in how she plans, the money is in my account doesn't mean that it's to be spent. I also had another friend who was, I would say, the opposite. And I also found, in a way, something that I couldn't do. And that's what I learned, right? The person would spend money till like, they literally had like 100 naira. And I'm like, how are you even going to bed knowing that tomorrow you can share? Like, well, at least I'm not hungry today. Tomorrow sort itself out, right? Now, if you are designing, some people have that attitude all the way to adulthood. They don't necessarily worry about anything, right? They're not too worried that tomorrow they cannot go to Jevnik to buy food. As far as today they've eaten and they're fine, they go to sleep. So you have to define what is your own, what do you want out of it? And based on that, then seek advice that allows you to grow. So personally, as a person, I'm not a very aggressive person in terms of investment. I'm not the kind of person, I'm more risk averse. So I rather see my money than say that my money went to a scammer. And I know, because I say that because a lot of people will advise you to say, oh, if you want to grow wealth, you need to, invest aggressively and all that. I believe more in every year, let my money just grow small, 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 and it's safe, rather than just lose it all. But that is tied back to my psychology, that I'm not looking in quotes to say that I'm the youngest, richest person. It's not an aggressive goal in my mind. My goals in life is that as I age, I have enough money to take care of myself. Also, even in money and in investment or in the business, right? Your money psychology, who you are, ties to the kind of things that you can do. So there are some people that just by who they are very good with doing businesses. They know how to work people. They know how to collect debts, which is very important, right? You hear a lot of people that they open businesses, they have great ideas, but they didn't have any structure, and by their own personality they are not very good with having very difficult conversations. You need to assess that properly so that you know that this thing that I'm about to do and all that doesn't necessarily jive with who I am or where I want to get to, and so that you don't follow other people's blueprint. So that is a summary actually of what I wanted to share. Like I said, I was going to be very quick. I believe that the session should be more interactive, but that is, I hope that I'll be able to pass across, some of the thoughts and concepts around how I believe, money is best managed. It's very personal, and it first starts by defining who you are and what you want from it. So, Mr. Henry, I think I'll pass on to you now to moderate.
Wow, you really made my day. I believe everyone can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you at least.
Hello? Okay, please don't take off your screen because most questions will be coming from what you've said. Want to sincerely appreciate you for this exposition and this inspiring and insightful experience of yours that will actually change our mindsets about money, especially when you talked about money psychology. I think I've stumbled on that book. In no time, we're giving the audience an opportunity to share or ask their questions. I don't know how you want it. Do you want me to take it one after the other? Because I believe some will have questions to be dropping at the chat box. Some will want to ask their questions. So please, if you're in the room, the meeting room, and you are a participant and want to ask questions, do well to raise your hand, just as Daniel Lekeke said, by using the emoji, your hands up, or you can actually drop your questions on the chat box, and in no time it will be read for Mrs. Howard to respond to them. My own question is personal, but I think that will come after everyone has given, because I've had experience when it comes to this financial space, and I can tell you it has its own plus and minus, and you gave us a point where you said that money is in your account doesn't mean it's meant to be spent. You said you need to have your money, you need to be seeing your money than giving it to one scammer, we had the experience in Nigeria, even outside, where businesses come up, investment come up, and all that. So a lot of questions will be coming. So just be open to receive them. Please, if you have your question, drop them on the chat box, or you can raise your hand and be given the opportunity to share your questions. So if you have a question, please, or you can drop them on the chat box, and we'll be giving you opportunity to ask your questions. Any question no question on the chat box? Yes. Okay, ma. Let me ask my own question while we wait for others to ask theirs. I have about 10 years experience when it comes to digital assets. Do you encourage SP professionals to make investments in digital assets such as currencies for them to be successful? You've had a lot of things going on, buying the dip, selling the high. When it's high, you sell off. Many people try to make investments in the stock market, buying the dip. When stocks or investments with maybe banks like UBA, Zenith, and all that goes up, you can sell and all that. We've had investment platforms opened, even under regulatory bodies in Nigeria. And some of them has always told us that they are regulated. We've had cases where even when you make applications to regulate your business, especially if you're in the fintech space or in the financial space, the processes becomes Herculean and all that. So what do you advise SP professionals as regards investments, both in digital assets and physical assets, especially with the banks? Like all them virtual assets. So
Okay. Thank you. I think the first thing that I always say about any investment, right, is that I don't fundamentally believe there's a bad investment or good investment, but there can be investments that you don't understand well enough, which means that you will not make the right decision. So, like you said, there's a myriad of digital investments, but we have so many platforms, right, that you can invest your money in, and they can help you to sub-invest. And you are right that in the past 2-3 years, right during that whole COVID wave, the rise in digital assets really grew. People were talking about how they are doubling their money from cryptocurrency and all that, and then we saw the bust. As I always say, it always sounds very good, of course, when it first starts, but if you don't understand it, there are people who understand it and who are able to navigate around it properly because they understand the workings around it. They understand what's the use case. So how does this thing make money? If somebody comes to you and just says, oh, this thing gives 100% returns or 30% or whatever, it's not necessarily bad or good, but what is not great is that you don't understand how the 30% is made. So I think let's use, for example, right, agro, we had a whole wave of investment in agricultural companies at one point. Everybody was promising back 40% and all that. But what a lot of people did not understand was what is the architecture around that? How did they make money? And you want to ask yourself, right? Most people are not, I don't think there's anybody that will not like to make as much money as they can for themselves, right? And you ask yourself, is that why would this person come to me to get money, right, for an investment and not go to the bank? There must be a reason why. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's fraud, but you must also understand the risks that if they are not willing to go to a bank because the bank needs to ask them for certain things and all that, which they don't have, am I also comfortable to put my money in it? And depending on your risk appetite, right? Some people that I know have a certain portion of their salaries, right, dedicated to investment aggressive opportunities like that. Again, big risk, big reward. If you are an investing person, some people really like to go big to say, I know that I will make a loss. And that's what I'm saying. The consciousness is not just following your friend because, oh, somebody made 30%, so let me drop my money. Maybe it's when you drop your money that the thing will bust. So, and nobody will refund your money back. But what you need to be able to do is to say that I understand the business model. I understand the risks. I am okay with that risk. There's also nothing that doesn't have risks, right? Even the lowest risks investment opportunities like treasury bills and money markets, they also have a bit of risk. It's just that the risk is quite low. It doesn't occur frequently that your money will go in that stuff, but also the returns are pretty moderate. But you need to be okay with it. You need to understand it, and you need to say that I understand why I have put in 1 million. If that 1 million naira should not yield returns, I'm also okay with that. Not that you borrow money that you cannot pay back to go and put in 1 million, and then at the end of the day you find yourself even in a more deficit position. So that will be my answer on that I don't generally believe there's anything that somebody can condemn to say is good or is bad. People have made money from it, but the people who it doesn't generally work for are those that don't take time to understand it and to make a conscious decision around the risks and the benefits before they put whatever money they want to put into it. So
okay, thank you very much. I've actually hit the nail on the head because I think these are the mistakes we've made both as professionals, as individuals, as people who had opportunity to discuss with people, read some books and do some businesses on a personal scale, or even engage friends, acquaintances on businesses, and we've had issues in the course of it. Now, you said something about that investment not understood doesn't mean that it's a wrong or right decision, but people make money from it and all that. There is this one of these richest guys in the world today. I don't know whether he's still late or alive. One of the books he wrote, he said, he said people should get into that thing when people are greedy. You should be off. When people are running away, you should be greedy. I don't know whether you've come in contact with something of that nature. That's a book like that. So, that has actually changed the mindset of many Nigerians and even professionals. Like, they will see something, they will see a business, they know that this thing is risky. There's no calculated risk, and they dive into it, and they get burnt. I personally have had that kind of case, even when it's like a win-win. You made the money, you lose some money. By the time you do, the margin, you check the balance, you find out that you are losing, or you're just losing a little. Sometimes you're gaining more and all that. So now at that point, should it be that when there are investments that you don't understand, and you have people, that understand that business and they advise you to get into it? Should it, because you have these funds and it's just sitting, it's not yielding anything, and you have a financial advisor, that will keep telling you that whatever he's telling is not a financial advice? That is the one of the lines we always receive, and and then we get into it because we get this advice and it gets born. How do we manage cases like that when people get into business? They put their heads into it, because others are running away from it, and they make some money while some will lose some money. And then when others are not making the money, then when they know that this thing is risky, they don't put their hands in it because people are getting into it. And at the end of the day, people make money from it, and you start regretting. How do we strike a balance to this situation?
So I answered that first from, again, back to my own view on life, right? That outside God, I'm a Christian, by the way, so if you're not a person of faith, apologies, it's not meant to be the same. But again, I'm answering the question based on my perspective, right? I don't believe that anyone is in control of my future or my decisions other than myself. I also believe that I'm created in God's image. So I myself also, I have power and all that. I generally am not comfortable when people say that, oh, it's because somebody told me to do something that I did it, right? It devolves the blame out because you are trying to push this. And if you don't understand what you are doing, then you shouldn't simply be doing it. And if you are doing that based on trust, that you believe that that person is intelligent, then you also have to own the decision to say that I'm putting my money here because I trust you. I trust that you are intelligent enough and what you are telling me is true, right? It's not everything that you put your money in that will generate money. Does that mean that you should stop investing? I don't think so. That is not the answer. You need to be able to sit back to see what is the thing that I'm willing to put, right? If I have 10 million naira for investments, what proportion of that am I willing to bet on risky investments? And I'll be okay that if that money goes, it has gone. It just didn't make it, right? Because if your goal, and that's back to what you want to achieve, if your goal is that at 40, you don't want to be working, and today you are earning 100,000 naira, but at 40, you are currently 25, it means that you are giving yourself 15 years to make a lot of money that can sustain you at least for your lifetime. It also means that you need to be more aggressive because you are looking for something that can generate a lot of money. What that means in reality is that you are not going to be operating like everybody. There's a price to always pay. And I think that's in every decision that you make. You have to understand, what am I sacrificing? If you have a very aggressive investment goal, you are probably sacrificing a lot of song funds more than the person that is okay with, like I said, growing my money steady. But you're okay with that because while my money is growing steadily, right? You may hammer tomorrow. You may invest your money in something that, suddenly really makes it. A lot of the people that we see make their money that way. But you first have to be comfortable with that risk, because it can also be that because you don't understand where you are putting your money, you are just losing money. So it's first to say, what kind of returns am I seeking? Why am I seeking that? Okay, what are the kind of investment opportunities that can give me big returns? Do I understand them? If I don't understand them, who am I meeting to teach me? When I put the money in, how much am I comfortable with losing? Because you will lose. If you are not ready to lose money in investing, then you are just ready to maybe make money over a really long term. So there's also compounding, but that requires patience. If we take Warren Buffett's strategy, right? Warren Buffett will say that a lot of people lose money because of lack of patience. They are in today, they hear, oh, it's now Hawa and Sons that is making money. They quickly put their money there. That one crashes and all that. You have to play the long game. And that's on people's own investing strategy and psychology, which is I don't want to be running up and down, but I'm going to put my money in, ETFs and co that I know that in the next 20 years, there's no way my money will not have grown. Does that mean that I'm going to have $1 million in the next 2 years? Probably not. But may I have $1 million in the next 10 years? Probably yes, but by patience. So, like I said, it's because a lot of people are in that situation because they've not even understood what they want. They're just trying to play fast market. Now, I have one fundamental belief, right, that you cannot make sustainable wealth from anything that doesn't add value. So you cannot make sustainable wealth by trying to game currency, this thing and all that. If you are doing that, that's probably all you are doing your day job, right? But if you have another job and you now say, oh, you are trying to do another trading by the side that you are not even sure what the value case is. People that make sustainable long wealth are giving something back to the society, either through a business that is generating real value, like solving a need and all that. My own belief is that most sustainable long-term wealth come by investing in things that are solving a need, right? That are not just a fad, but the real needs that the society needs, and they find a way to close it. So first in investing, I always ask to say, what is this thing solving? What is the problem this person is trying to solve? If somebody just comes to me and say, if you invest today, I'm pulling money together, tomorrow I'll give you 20%. That person is just tripping money, and somebody must hook. There must be somebody that would be the loser in the long run, no matter whether it takes another 6 months or not. So you first need to understand that, but you also need to own whatever decision you make. That's also another way to, I would say, influence yourself better. You don't need to make decisions because you said another person convinced you, except you had a gun to your head, which was now, kidnapping or robbery. But you need to own whatever decisions that you make.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we have some questions on the chat box. One question is sent, two persons are asking questions centered on black tax. Mr. Divine Onwebu is saying you should throw more light on the black tax. Mr. Daniel Ekeke is saying war is an ideal approach to saying no to the black tax. So.
Okay, so I'm first going to go on. The first thing that I'll say is on black tax is that some people find it easier to say no fundamentally, right? And by the way their families are structured, they were raised that other people also have a sense of responsibility not to become burdens to others. But one way that I've seen people solve black tax, first of all, is by putting their money in things that they cannot remove to be giving you every month. So black tax, for those that don't know, is in quotes is, the money that you have to give family and friends that you don't generally budget for, but you are giving because you have a sense of duty or you feel a sense of compulsion to give and to help your family. This and it's great, in a sense, because a big part of the success that we have in Nigeria today, many people were educated or trained by relying on other family members. But as with anything, it can become just too much for some people. Especially when people don't set proper boundaries, right? Then the person expects that you are basically funding their total lives, and they are not able to get to a point where, today I've invested in you. Okay, what do you use that money for? No. I think the first thing that I do personally is to sit down and to account to say, how much have I given you as a person? When I gave you that money, what did you do with it? You also have to understand when you are helping somebody, what are they using the money for? Some people are so trapped in the cycle of poverty that any money you are giving them, they're just using it to eat. So of course they must come back to you or to find another person. So what I always focus on is how can I give you something that you can use to create your own money, move from giving you fish to teaching you how to fish. And I sort of ask those questions. So the first time that you meet me, I would give you, because I want to also first establish that I'm not a mean person. So I would give you a reasonable amount that I'm willing to part with. Another thing also in is that people borrow money that they cannot part with. It's a no rule. Any money that you cannot forget, right, is much easier not to try to part with it, at least to most people, because relationships and families have been destroyed because of loaning out money that you cannot forget. So if you meet me, my first thing is to say the first time I would help with money that I can part with, and just write it off. The second time I'll try to ask questions, and this is where it gets uncomfortable because most people don't want to have that difficult conversation. So why are you in a tight corner? What are you doing and all that? If the person is a very close family member, I can probably, bring together other people that I also know that they trust, right? They trust because in also this whole process, you don't want to make other people feel demeaned, in quote, if I say. So bring other people that they trust to say, what do you want to do to sustain yourself, right? Versus everybody giving you handouts or whatever. What business idea do you have? Or do you want to go to school? Do you want to do a training and all that? And then the next thing that I do, that if I make that investment, right, I then give myself a real this to say that that's it. Because any other thing apart that will be causing both of us to not move on this. And I know it's harder because some people, these are their parents. If we're being realistic, some people's black tax is their parents. And how do you tell your parents no and all that? You actually have to have the difficult conversation. I always believe for parents, so my parents raised me. So for my parents, I have a minimum this thing to say that I can't watch my parents starve. But that doesn't mean that my parents expect that I'm buying them car every month or they are going to borrow money. Some people are in now that dire situation, which is their parents are borrowing money on their behalf, sending them, loan sharks are calling them and all that. You can't stop that actually without doing what you feel uncomfortable to do, which is to put your foot down to say that no matter what, I'm not going to fund this. It's very hard to do it. Or I also see some people who invest on behalf of their parents. So instead of giving them money every month from their own salary, they put an investment to say, I'm putting this 1 million. This 1 million should pay you guys every month, 100K or something, whatever, right? I'm just projecting because 1 million getting 100K every month is 100% returns, which is impracticable. But they put a certain amount of money and they tell their parents that is it. And also with siblings, it's the same thing because if you don't cut it, then the cycle of dependency doesn't end, right? And if that cycle of dependency doesn't end, what you will find yourself is that you will find yourself in a place where you are feeling extremely resentful and, negative emotions are building up towards people that you love. So depending, for some people, it's very easy to cut off because they are not very close family members, somebody that is a friend keeps on asking you for money. But again, back to my number one question, who are you? Some people, even their 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 church members are creating constant black taxes for them and they are unable to say no. So, like I said, I personally first lock my money where I cannot reach it consistently. So even if you ask me, I truly don't have, and if I don't have, I don't have. But I then make a plan for those that I feel responsibility for. And I make it very clear to them. I make the money that I'm going to give clear to them known to say, this is the amount of money that I'm going to give you monthly. You need to deal with it. I don't have any more and all that. And to have those clear, firm conversations and draw that boundaries.
Okay, thank you so much because this black tax issue is virtually everybody's issue. And you know where it's coming from. Yeah. Especially when we have, I don't know of this, of now, anyway, some parents, not all, there are some parents that have this entitlement mentality that, I trained you, so therefore you must train others, you must give me, you must give me. As a matter of fact, that kind of thing, we experience this thing on a daily basis, especially if you are maybe like the first child, maybe you stumble into things and all that. So there's a whole lot of it. But thank God for the clarity. Yeah, the clarity, but it's not always
It's not
easy
easy,
to
and
win.
it's not always,
Yeah,
yes,
it's not always
it's
easy
not.
to win there.
Again, what many of us are afraid of is being socially cut off or ostracized, if I use that word right. Um, Again, if you are somebody who studies psychology or this, and the natural human tendency is wanting to belong to a tribe or to a group, right? So especially as you are growing, you are thought to blend in, not to stand out. So what most of us were afraid of is not even the saying no, but the impact of what saying no will mean. We're afraid that if you say no, then there will be people who would ostracize you socially in terms of, speaking negative about you and all that. So a lot of the things around life is in overcoming that fear first of being ostracized. People who necessarily change the world, right? Or people who do like great things, they have to overcome that fear. Every day, people on Twitter talking about Elon Musk, but Elon Musk keeps on doing stuff, and those that are not doing are always talking about him. Anyways, regardless, he still does. So I always say that the life that you want is on that other side, and it's only you that can do it. So you have to find a way that deep in your mind that you've done well. So I will not advocate. I mean, I've seen some people even get to that point to say, even my parents, I'm not going to give them anything. I'm just going to cut everybody off. But that has degenerated. For that person to also get to that point, that relationship has degenerated. What I always first say is that before it gets to that point where you are here, is to have a conversation. They may not listen. Some people are from families where I don't know the word to use. I don't want to use the Gen Z word of toxic, but it can feel like that where it's like, what are you saying? Blah, blah, this and all that. But you have to have that conversation. You have to be able to say, this is what I'm going to give you. I'm not going to, it doesn't serve any of us well if I also kill myself trying to make everybody happy, and stick with it. After a while, some will come around. I've seen that happen for a lot of people. They finally realize that, well, this is what it is, and they accept you for that.
You're correct. Okay, we are actually short of time, but I think there's one more question. We just want you to take it in 1 minute. Someone asked a question about, it's about, apart from understanding the risk of an investment, should ethics and morality influence decisions? In 1 minute, please.
Yes, if ethics and morality is important to you, right? If you're somebody that you believe that businesses, what you want as a person, right? What is important to you is that you want to be associated with things that are doing good, then yes, your investment decision should also be tailored to that. There are people who will never invest in an energy company, who will never buy shares of the IOCs because they fundamentally believe that those people are not doing the earth good. And that's also okay. It's a personal decision. So again, what is ethics and morality differs from person to person, right? Some people's ethics and morality is I will never invest in Gouda. I don't support alcohol, right? And for some of us, it's like, yeah, alcohol is only bad if somebody misuses it. Anyways, if you drink to your limit, then it's not bad. So again, it's defining what is ethics and morality to you. If it's important, then you also factor it into your investment decision. But that ethics and morality is a subject that is so wide that it's different for different people. What is ethical to you and all that. There are some things that are, of course, maybe be more this in a business where they are kidnapping people. I believe that at least 99% of the population will say is unethical and I will not fund that. But there are some that are not, it is a gray area and differs from person to person.
Much. We sincerely appreciate your time for being in this monthly series. We really appreciate you for coming. We hope to have more of you. You promised to give us that book on that ebook on money psychology. We look forward to getting it so that everyone can at least go through it. In no time, we'll be inviting the technical team lead for the certification or certificate presentation of certificates. So Mr. Nicholas, over to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
All right.
Nicholas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Nicholas, can hear
Yes,
you.
I can.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Harry Frank, for the wonderful moderation so far. And I also want to take this moment to thank Speaker of the Day, Mrs. Hawa Ajinima Iloma. Considering the circumstances surrounding this month's technical series, specifically our financial literacy, for making today a success. At some point, we were really destabilized because of the unforeseen circumstance, but what can I say? A joy, and we hold it dear to our heart. On behalf of SP Port Harcourt Section 103 specifically, the Young Professional Arm, representing the YP Chair, Mr. Justice Vidigo, I present to you this certificate of appreciation for honoring our invite and impacting us in a very essential area. I believe everyone that has been on this call has learned a thing or two. Unlike our normal technical series, this is one aspect that really resonates with us on a personal level because it's a thing we do every day. We interact with finances, and you've made us understand to a personal level how to go about it. We really appreciate, and we hope you join us some other time one of these days. Thank you very much, Mrs. Howard.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nicholas.
Right. You're welcome. As a courtesy, we'll also send you an electronic copy of the certificate. You do have to add it to your archives of certificates. Just as a filler, going forward with our presentation, we would like our participants to please turn on their cameras. Let's have a group photo quickly. I'll stop sharing for a moment so that I can capture everybody on the call. Please, let's see our beautiful faces. Simeon, can you please stop sharing your screen so that we can have a better view? Hello, Simeon, can you hear me? Please stop sharing your screen.
Okay, so you can go ahead to override that share for your own side. To override his own.
All right.
Please let's turn on our videos. Yeah. Okay, so Nicholas, please tell us when you're fine.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Have you finished taking the pictures?
Yeah, I'm done with the pictures.
Okay, okay.
All right, so please, can you see my screen?
Yes, I'm saying that
We're just showing
FB
photographs.
pages, so they're sharing screen.
Okay, so membership. On the a representative from the membership committee to quickly take the membership drive. Please, is there anyone from the membership team?
Sorry, I would like to interrupt just to say that I will be dropping off the call. I now need to be heading home. I just stayed behind in the office so that I didn't get into traffic because I'm currently in Lagos, so I need to head home. But it was very good session for me, and thank you everyone again for having me on the call.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Ma, thank you very much. We'll get in touch. Thank you for joining us. Have a safe trip home. So please, Simeon, I think we need to make Mrs. KK, Mrs. Kimberly a co-host so that she can take the membership drive.
Okay, so Kimberly is a guy, I'm not a mistake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never knew. Okay.
Yeah, Kimberly, you can share your screen right now if you're
Henry,
ready.
Henry, you are the host, so you have the privilege to make KK on the chat a co-host so that he can unmute himself.
I've made him a co-host.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, please. I would like to share my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Please, Mr. Kimberly, if you could mute one of your device. Seems like you are joined from two devices. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay. I'll have to proceed now. All right. I'm sure you can see my screen.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Thank God Kimberly, and I'll be taking the membership drive for this particular session. Okay. Proceeding, the Society of Petroleum Engineers is a non-profitable organization, which is actually aimed at bringing industry knowledge to the public. Okay, our members include the students, recent graduates, whites, and down to senior professional. As you all know, the recent graduates are being graduated from the institutions that are chapters under SP Port Harcourt section. And then the ones are professionals who are 35 years below and have the industry work experience. And then for the senior professionals, that those from 35 years old, 35 years and above. Okay, moving down to our membership benefits. Our membership benefits include the strong industry network. We all understand the networking benefits of being an SP member, discounted fees in attending conferences and access to educational materials. So this is who we are. Okay, you can join SPE Port Harcourt section, which is actually the second largest in Nigeria. It covers about 6 states with over 12 student chapters. So this is our registration fee. So for YPs, our registration is at 28,500. But thanks to the board, they've decided to have a discount rate for the YPs at 21,500, if I'm not mistaken. For the professional students, that's 36,000 there. And under the student level, it is free. You can contact us under Port Harcourt section, our membership chair, Mr. Mondi, and Mr. membership chair. And you can also reach out to Ms. Emmanuel Labo, who is actually the YP membership committee lead for the section. It is a cross-sectional photos of most of the events in the section. And then that should be all for now. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank God. Thank you. Nicholas, over to you. Nicholas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So we'll call on someone from the ALP team to give us updates on. Okay, before that, let's take a brief announcement. So for the month of November, we have our YCons. These are volunteers, young professionals that have given in a lot in terms of personal resources, time, energy, input to make the month a success, hit important milestones and KPIs. So for the female YCon of the month, we have Onwamaka Igboanusi. And for the male YCon of the month, we have Mr. Daniel AKK. These are outstanding young professionals that on a daily basis are putting in important work to help us meet our targets. So we appreciate them. We encourage them to keep up with the good work and also stand as a point of call to those of us that are on this call to please emulate this good work that they are doing. We need more volunteers. We are never short of work. Most times, the active volunteers are usually overwhelmed, always want deadline, want tasks, this or that to do. Volunteering is not by who has so much time on their hand. It's based on who is passionate, who wants to do it, who wants to get it done. And these people have shown us that it's possible. So if you like what you see and you wish to be featured in one of our months as a YCons, please, when there's a call for a tax, when there's a call for sacrifice, please don't hesitate. And it's a win-win. you also learn valuable skills in the process. So thank you, Amaka and Daniel, for your good works. And keep it up. Thank you very much. And also, going forward with the announcement, we have some events coming up. We had the November monthly industry quiz, which is coming up on the 30th of November by 5:30 p.m. And the eligibility is clearly on our screen. We must be a registered SP member. We must follow and engage all SP Port Harcourt section social media platforms. Tag 10 followers to join SP Port Harcourt. And that's the criteria to participate for the quiz. And the link is also on the call here. If you're active in our volunteer groups and our YP groups, you see these flyers subsequently. Also, hooray, we are approaching the season of yellow tides. And we have something special planned for us, the Secret Santa. We had the maiden version last year, and I had a very special gift. It's still in my possession to this day. Whenever I look at it, I feel good that I'm part of a thoughtful family like SP. And we'll be having the second version this year. Please, let's all look out for it. Plan something nice. And something nice too will come to you. Thank you very much. Let's see what next. Also, SP Week is coming up. SP Week is a series of activities planned in a week before we officially go for our Xmas break. It involves different activities centered around the team. We have the opening ceremony and a panel session. We have a career guidance and finance workshop. We have a football match between YPs and senior members. We have the Student Energy Conference, Work for Life, Community Service. Then we have our award nights where those YPs that have put in the work, recognizable work throughout the year, they'll be giving awards to show appreciation and to let them know that we see what you do. Keep it up. And we'll wrap it up with SP Children's End of Year Party. So look out for it. It will span from the 4th to 10th of December next month. And we also have the Section Chairperson's Cup, S6 Cup, between senior members and YPs coming up on the 6th December. This is also part of the SP week, just as an emphasis. So there's a call for volunteers. Our hidden Ronaldos, Mbappe's, Messi's, please, we need you. We really need to let our senior members know that there's a reason why why football clubs go for younger players. Nothing less than 7-0, okay? Keep that in mind. All right. For the fun part of today's quiz, we'll be having our YP Energy Trivia Quiz. These are a series of questions centered around our day-to-day in the energy industry and the thought of our theme for today. So the sharp brains on the call, let's have fun. Let me quickly present my screen. All right, please, can someone see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So please join the quiz following the instructions on my screen here. Either go to www.menti.com or you can scan using the QR code. And when you visit the page, enter the code 27489663 to join the quiz. Two players on the call. Three. We have 17 participants on this call. I expect nothing less than 10 people to join this quiz. Four players. Okay. Five players now. For those that are yet to join, please follow the instructions on the screen. Go to menti.com and join using the code 27489663. Six players, now five players ready to go. Give us an extra minute to see if we'll have more players. Then we start the quiz. Seven players, nice. Eight players, two more. Then we start. Visit menti.com and use the code 27489663. Menti.com using the code 27489663. All right. Thirty more seconds, then start the quiz. Why are we losing players? We are supposed to be adding, not reducing. Okay, I guess we can start now. The time is 7 at the dot. All right, question number one. What is the primary goal of diversification in a financial portfolio? One, maximize returns. Two, minimize risks. Three, generating positive income. Four, timing the market. The correct answer is to minimize risks. There's a common saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is the way to put it in financial terms. Diversify financial portfolio so that in case one goes bad, the others are in a safe place. So you are minimizing risks. So the next question, question number two, how many players do we have on the call? 8 players. Remember, time is a factor. What does the acronym PTW stands for in the context of process safety management? One, process technical warning. Two, process task workflow. Three, permit to work. Four, plant turnaround warnings. Permit to work. That was an easy one. Everyone that has been visiting the field sites to be conversant to the concept of PTW. A special apologies to our office personnel and non-technical personnel in the house. The whole idea of the quiz is to get us acquainted with common SP related or petroleum related concepts. And this is one of them. So please feel free to learn a thing or two. Thank you. For question number 3, how many players we have? We have 8 players. Okay. I guess that's the maximum. Almost 50% of participants. For question number 3, which emerging technology has the potential to enhance oil and gas reservoir characterization through real-time monitoring? Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, augmented reality, blockchain, AI, yeah, real-time monitoring. That's AI for you. So congrats, those that got the answers right. What is the primary objective of a bow tie analysis in the field of process safety? Identify potential hazard. Oh, I see most of us are not conversant to the concept of bow tie analysis. So bow tie analysis is a tool in process safety that is used to visualize risk scenarios. So please let's add this to our knowledge toolbox. All right. Let's see who is leading. Oh, who is Patty? Yeah, Patty seems to be the fastest finger, followed by King Fabito, then Nelson. All right, question number 5. 8 players on the call. All right. 9 players. Who is this latecomer? There's still hope, sure. So question number 5. Who inaugurated the newly elected board members for 2022-2023 SP Section 103? We have Dr. Ndubisi Okereke, Engineer Bola Bada, Prof. Adewale Dosumu, and Engineer George Iwo. And the answer is Professor Adewale Dosumu. You see, this is why it's good to attend our physical meetings. You get to experience all these events. Question number 6 coming up. Maybe I have a little network issue. Let's give it a moment. All right, question number 6. 9 players on the call. Let's go. In production operations, what is the purpose of using an ESP, electrical submersible pump? Reduce reservoir pressure, lift fluids to surface, increase oil viscosity, monitor wellhead temperature. Is to lift fluids to the surface, ESP. People working in production facilities will probably know the concept of ESPs. ESPs is synonymous to our we have in our borehole. Considering we are really under pressure, we need a small. So ESP is like a higher sumo pumps that have dead oil or oil or reservoirs with a natural drive. The oil to the surface is a sort of artificial lift. So please know that. Which 7. Oh, what was it? Please confirm if you can hear me, son. Question number 7. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but just hold on and sort out the network. Yeah.
For question number 7, what is the primary product of a catalytic cracking process in petroleum refinery? Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, or lubricating oil? Gasoline is correct. Please, let's rush through the quiz. For question number 8, 7 players ready, 8 players ready. Let's go. Remember, answer fast to get more points. What is the significance of the Eaton's constant in drilling fluid engineering? 1, measure drilling mud viscosity. 2, determine fluid density. 3, quantifies fluid loss control. And 4, indicate fluid compressibility. Indicates fluid compressibility. All right. Please, let's take note. It is constant fluid compressibility. Thank you. So let's see who is leading. Oh, wow. Nothing is on fire. Okay, for the final lap of our today's quiz, let's go. We have 7 players ready. Who was the SP Port Harcourt female Wycon for the month of September 2023? Ofure Ogege, Obianuju Isicheli, Emmanuela Agbo, or Adeshola Robinson? And the correct answer is Ofure Ogege. Next question. Question number 10. 8 players ready. What is the primary advantage of using hydrocracking over traditional refining processes? 1, higher gasoline yield. 2, reduce environmental emissions. 3, enhance heavy oil processing. 4, lower energy consumption. Reduced environmental emissions, hydrocracking, and environmental emissions in the same sentence. Question number 11, 8 players ready. What is the primary mechanism behind miscible gas injection in EOR processes? 1, pressure maintenance. 2, reservoir compaction. 3, viscosity reduction. 4, gas expansion drive. Viscosity reduction, miscible gas, you inject a gas that mixes with the formation oil. So gas will sort of reduce viscosity, make it lighter so that it can flow easier. So that's the concept or the primary mechanism in miscible gas injection. Why increasing reservoir pressure is also lightening up the oil to make it flow easier, or you say reducing